Okay, guys, well, welcome back to Elevated Podcast. Today we have a special guest. Julian, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Julian, and
AKA
been
Julian's Cool.
yeah, if you want to give me a follow, you can. If you want to learn some new workouts, that's me. But I'm striving to be a personal trainer, and I've been through a lot in the last 5 years, and I look perfectly normal, but it's all what's
Facade.
underneath that I've been through. Yeah, like until people actually ask about my story and know my story, they take a second look at me like, holy shit.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's kind of like when, we first, I don't not want to say when we first met, but when we first started hanging out, when I brought up the whole thing that I told you I had cancer, and you were just
Oh
like,
yeah.
what?
Oh,
Like,
mind blowing,
yeah,
dude. I was like, what?
you don't look like, you've been through all this shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, I can
Yeah.
show you the paperwork. And I did.
I'll never forget that, dude, because I remember um I seen one of your pictures of you when you're younger and you're
Oh,
bald.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, dude, why were you trying to look like a thug back then? And then you're like, oh, you're nonchalant. You're like, oh no, dude, that's when I had cancer. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, no way. And
Yeah.
then you showed me all the records. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
It's like a stack of paperwork. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you.
Different times, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely relatable. Yeah.
So what do you do now, Julian?
Right now I'm just training, I'm trying to strive to uh become like a personal trainer in my area where I live.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do more so of almost like life coaching, because it's not just the fitness that people have to worry about.
Correct.
It's everything, like what you eat, what you think about, like what you do on a daily basis. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, work out for an hour, and I'm gonna be good, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's more than that.
It's controlling the mind too, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably, I say it's the biggest muscle you gotta work out.
Okay. So you as a personal trainer, do you think because I've heard a lot of sayings that a lot of personal trainers say it's 70%, I think, of it's what you eat, and then 30% is the gym or something like that.
Um,
Is that
it's
pretty
kind of,
accurate?
it just depends because every body type is different. Then you have to look at genetics and stuff like that, and everyone's different, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what works with you, and you got to
Correct.
figure that out. And sometimes you just need some help figuring that out.
That makes
Yeah, a lot of
sense.
people don't get that. Our bodies are vastly. I mean, we're similar to each other, but there's also a lot of differences, and there's
Yeah.
some things that people can do with minimal effort and see big results, and then there's other people who are going to struggle to get minor results. And it really is about learning that individual, understanding their body type, understanding their chemistry, what all they got going on, their history, like in DJ's case,
Mm-hmm.
I guess in most of our cases, right? Just to what extremes, and then helping find a plan that's specific to them. It's not,
Exactly.
we're not cookies.
Yeah, you just throw them in the oven.
Right.
Yep.
It's funny that you bring that up because I remember when you used to eat, this guy would eat so much, dude. It was
Can't eat like that
stupid.
no more. The big ass burritos.
Yeah, and I would always ask him, dude, how do you fit all that? He's like, I got to eat all this because I got to keep all this muscle. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. It's
That was
just
when I was
pounds and
ignorant.
pounds of food, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, it was literally pounds.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And within 2-3 hours, he'd eat again, and I'm like, dude, you just ate. How are you hungry?
Honestly, dude, I don't even know because I don't even eat like that anymore. My
Yeah,
metabolism was crazy.
dude, it really was.
Yeah, I typically fast now, and I'll eat 1 to 2 meals a day, and I'll be good.
Really? Okay. Damn, you took a big turn then. You went from
Oh yeah.
a
I mean,
binge
they're not
eating.
small meals.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Yeah, that's one thing I need to focus on is the nutrition part, because not everyone's gonna be like me and know what to eat or what to stay away from. And me, I'm lucky enough to fast throughout the day, and like my body doesn't like react that bad from it, and then like when I do eat, like my body's just gaining all the nutrition, you know.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I always try to like express it to people that it's almost like the animal kingdom, you know, like you see a lion, like they don't eat for like a week and then they get that one massive meal and they're like these
Yeah,
lean ass
they
motherfuckers,
bulk
you know.
up.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good way
I
to
always
put
try
it.
to
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's
Uh,
crazy to think that there's so many differences in the way that people handle how they maintain their health, and like some individuals need to be eating 4 or 5 minor meals throughout a day. And then to
Yeah.
your point, like cheetahs, lions, big cats, especially big cats, like
yeah.
they exert so much energy trying to catch that one meal that they might only have for a day, a couple days, a week, and then they have to conserve and really smart about
Yeah.
it. And then some of us, man, if we only eat once a day, then you might be hurting yourself, you might be helping yourself. It's a
Yeah.
crazy world.
Yeah, like I said, it just goes on like what body type you are, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Because I actually tried intermittent fasting, and dude, that shit is fucking brutal.
Yeah,
I
try to
couldn't go
recommend that
that
to
long
everyone.
without eating.
Yeah, and like the first week or two is like always the hardest, you know, with
Yeah.
everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
even with like working out, with studying, you know, like anything. Like the first week or two are always gonna be the hardest, you know. It's just getting through that, then like you start getting comfortable with it. And that's what I always tell people, like, look, I'm gonna recommend fasting, but don't pity yourself too much because it's gonna be hard, you know, but you
Yeah.
just gotta want it. And
Yeah.
that's what I did, you know, like uh, I had gained 50 pounds, you know, after like my accident and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
I was trying, like, I was desperate, man. I was looking at different diets like keto, just like vegan, you know, all kinds of stuff. And like, it was not working out for me. Like, I just became overwhelmed, you know, trying to meal prep and all that. And
Yeah.
it would get annoying to me, and then I found fasting, and this guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name, but he's always this like nonchalant like trainer, like just stop being a pussy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right,
Just do
fine.
it.
Yeah, pretty much like Shia LaBeouf, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, I started doing it, and the weight started shedding off along with like working out, you know. But
Yeah.
I felt like it was the easiest for my body just because I couldn't keep up with all the other diets. And over time, you know, you just get tired of it, and I want to eat what I want, you know. So like
Exactly.
I say like I eat to train and I train to eat.
I think that was the one thing that appealed to me, because like you don't eat for so long, and then once you do have that window to eat, you can kind of eat whatever you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it's like a massive quantity too.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll have my good weeks and like my bad weeks. You know, like one week I'll eat
It's
like a fat
cookies and
kid,
ice
and
cream.
yeah, dude. And then like the next week I'll just be like, all right, I gotta eat more greens. I gotta eat
Yeah.
more this and that. You know, I'll be strict on it, but
Yeah.
every now and then I'll just indulge. You know, because you know I try to spoil myself every now and then. You know, like I earned it. You know, I'm gonna eat what I want. No one's gonna tell me different.
Gotta be your own man, right? Run it down
Exactly.
yourself.
Yeah.
So you mentioned being in an accident. What did your life look like prior to your accident?
So, um, before my accident, I was this gym rat, just you know, like always in the gym, you know, like always doing something. I was striving to be a fighter. You know, I was really good at wrestling, and I just had started getting into like MMA classes, and it was fun for me. And I was like, man, this would be so dope to like go professional, you know. But I couldn't just, you know, like do that, train and like not work, you know. So I was working, and I had just started a new job, and on my way to that job, it was like my first official week, like completely done with that job, and I got into my wreck, and uh, yeah, it was just brutal. Just going through a lot, you know.
So you were trying to warm up to become an MMA fighter.
Yeah,
So
that was the
last
goal.
not last week actually. I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Fuck, maybe a bit longer. We had a one of our last guests on the show. I was this dude named Blue Duck, and he was a multi times Golden Gloves champion. Big into the boxing world. He trained for like the majority of his life.
Yeah.
And eventually he landed a knockout that got him on ESPN, landed him on some talk shows, but it wasn't from anything that he had trained in.
Yeah. Which is the funny part.
he slapped the dude out at a slap off competition. But
you might actually know him if you actually see the clip.
Yeah, you probably do.
Fucking viral, like a viral clip.
The reason I brought him up though is he trains with one of our gaming friends, and our gaming friend is really big into MMA, and so like the training that goes into that type of an environment is brutal. Like so I can imagine. Man. Yeah, it really is. So that's what you were doing. So that's who you were, and then you had this accident. What happened, man?
So you want to know the whole story? Or...
Dude, I would love to know your whole story, dude.
Before we get into that, dude, this guy, he was like badass at wrestling. He had so many trophies. He did this one move on me, like he lifted me like nothing, dude. Like I was a piece of paper, dude. And that was like your signature move, right? Like your pinning move or whatever.
It just depends on what you're talking about. I had a lot, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you get the technique right, it just becomes easy, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to fight this guy for real. You don't.
I don't want to fight anybody, DJ.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't even try to fight anyone.
Right.
I mean, we could spar if that's what you want. But
I'm good, dude. I'm good. I'm trying to keep my face here. Yeah. So yeah, he got into a motorcycle accident. I don't know how much into detail you want to go about that.
Yeah. So it was September 26, 2014. Yeah, I'm gonna narrate this shit like
5 years ago.
Yeah. So, like I said, I just started this new job. I was on my way to work. The only source of transportation I had at the time was my bike, and I had to use it. You know, I had to pay the bills. So I was on my way to work, and it was early in the morning, about 6-7 a.m. So it was a little dark, and then there was like patches of fog on the way. You know Woodland, right, Frankie?
Yes.
Okay, so I was on 113, and that highway alone is like
it's sketchy.
Brutal enough, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was on 113, and I was just minding my own business, and some lady, I guess she tried to cut off a car in front of her. Got into my lane, hit me head on at 65 miles per hour. Got launched off my bike 100 yards and rolled and dragged another few.
Fuck.
If you can imagine that sounds pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah. I was in the air for the longest time. It didn't really hit me until, man, I don't even know when, maybe when I woke up. But I just remember, like, everything felt like a bad dream, you know? Like, everything went into slow motion. Like, all I saw was headlights coming towards me, and, like, everything slowed down. I was like, what's happening right now, you know? And then everything started getting closer and closer, and I was just like, oh, shit, what the fuck? What's happening? And I remember impacting. I don't remember the actual hit, like, where I felt it, but I just remember just being thrown. And for the longest time, I just felt like a lifeless body just floating away, you know? And at one point, like, I felt like I was just watching myself, you know, like, in the air. And once I finally hit, like, I honestly don't know if I died or what, because, like, just got, like, the wind knocked out of me. And, like, when I woke up, you know, it was almost like when you see in the movies when people, like, get revived or something, you know, like, I just felt like I got, like, a punch in my chest, just like, you know?
Yeah.
And I just woke up and spit out, like, pieces of my teeth. Like, my clothes was all torn up. I was all bloody. I was missing my freaking boots. My foot was facing the other way. You know, just everything was. It just did not feel real. Like when I woke up, I was like, no, this has to be a dream. I kept having to tell myself, like, this
Yeah.
is real. Like, you just woke up to this shit, dude. Like, you're fucked up, And yeah, I woke up and I kept asking for the ambulance, and I was on the side of the highway. I was found in a ditch, Uh, like CHP, they had told me they thought I was dead, they were like, oh, like another motorcyclist dead. And then they started hearing me talk, like, oh, like, where's the ambulance? Where's the ambulance? They're like, they told me they were so like shocked that I was still alive, like,
Yeah.
wow, this guy's still here. And so I was just in a ditch waiting for the ambulance, and then a bunch of people pulled over trying to take care of me. And the whole time, like, I don't know why, like, it was such a concern to me. I was looking for my bike, and like the thing was like nowhere to be found, like for me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, my back was broken, my foot was facing the other way, like I was all banged up, and I kept like looking back, trying to look for my bike. I was like, where's my bike? Where's my bike? I don't know why that was like my main concern at the time.
Sorry to interrupt, but that reminds me of a story of this one buddy of mine that he told me. It wasn't a motorcycle, but it was a bicycle. And he had borrowed it from his friend. And he was trying to go super fast on it, and he ends up falling off it from face first, and he slides, and then the other dude that let him borrow the bike comes running up to him, and he's like, dude, they're both on the ground. Well, he's on the ground and the bike's somewhere on the ground too. And he's like, dude, my bike. Even though his friend was like all fucked up. So it reminded me of that.
Yeah,
Man.
I don't know why that happens, but it's common that when you're in like a major accident that you end up latching onto like this one thing, and you're like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Even though it doesn't fucking matter. Like, like I'm sure in the back of your head you're like, I'm pretty fucked up. I need to make sure that like, I'm taken care of.
Yeah,
no doubt, man. Like, I was just in shock. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, like my bike was just my main concern, and yeah, it was just all the shock. And
so at that point where when you were just laying there on the ground, did you feel pain, or was there too much adrenaline in your body that you didn't feel anything?
I think when I tell the story, I think I had a lot of adrenaline, but I'm pretty sure at the time I had so much pain, because I was trying to get up, but I couldn't get up, and people were telling me not to get up,
Like, nah, dude, stay down.
Yeah. When your back's broken, your foot's facing the other way, there's no way you're getting up.
Yeah, I'm a fighter, dude.
I know you are.
But yeah, I eventually felt all the pain. I still do,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was being helped by all these people, and finally, like the ambulance finally came, and I was asking them, like, am I gonna be okay? I didn't know how serious it was.
Yeah.
And no one was telling me anything, and I don't know if they're not allowed to or what. But
Probably
like,
not.
yeah, so I was getting a little scared because I asked them, and I was like, am I gonna be okay? And no one was telling me anything. They just kept injecting me with morphine and asking me all these questions. And finally, we get to like this open field, and that's where like I see the helicopter. And man, it just felt so surreal. Like just seeing like the chopper blades, like in the back of your head, just looking back. I'm just like, wow, I'm really like in this right now. Like this is really happening.
Were you like coherent enough to where you realized that was the life support helicopter that was coming for you?
Oh yeah.
Fuck, man.
Once I got into the ambulance, like it was almost like I was back in reality. Like, okay, I just got fucked up. Like, I need to get taken care of, And so I got slid into the chopper in the back, and the EMT in there. I asked her if I was gonna be okay, and same thing, man. Uh, just kept asking me questions, injecting me with more and more morphine. And at that point, I was scared, I was like, this is it. Like, they're not telling me anything. I'm probably dying. And I've never been, at that time, I was never I'd never been in an aircraft until that helicopter.
I remember this part.
Fuck.
Yeah. And so I was getting life flight to the UC Davis, and I remember like all the trees were just orange and yellow, red, just beautiful, like the sun was rising. And like I just remember looking out the helicopter window, I was like, man, this is gonna be my last view. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And finally we land to the hospital and get rushed into the emergency room, like all these doctors, all these nurses just like rushing me, like all these people asking me questions at once. I don't even know who to answer, I just say things, to like answer all of them. And finally, like one of the doctors like, oh, you're gonna be okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. And for some reason I just trusted him, I believed him, and it was like a relief off my shoulders, and I knocked the fuck out. And I woke up and I was in the emergency room, just hooked up to all these machines, and I was just like, "Fuck, this was real," like this shit
Yeah.
did happen.
Yeah. Nah, man, like it when I went to go see you in the hospital, dude, like it hit me, dude, because like I saw you laying there and like I related so much because I'm like, dude, that used to be me. Maybe not to that extreme with like physically damaged, because mine was
Different type of
more
damage, though.
mine was more
Oh
internal,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
I just related so much, and like, I got kind of emotional that day.
Oh yeah, man. Like I got emotional with
Super
a
rare
bunch
for
of
DJ.
Mhm.
I don't think he's been emotional since.
You
I
just
was
took it
just
all
like,
out of me, man. I didn't have any left.
I was like, drop the beat, Frankie. Nah, but like when I wrestled, we had this saying, like, like always give everything with all your heart, like every last drop, like sweat. Like our coaches would always tell us this story every year, to like summarize it, it'd be like, say you're like taking a hike and you're like close to this cliff, and imagine like you fall off this cliff, and like just like falling, you manage to like reach out and you manage to find a rope just dangling from that cliff, and you're hanging onto that rope. Are you gonna let go of that rope and like fall to your death, or are you gonna hold on to that rope and keep fighting until you get any sort of help? And like um I still live by that, and I always lived by that, like when I was in high school. And I remember when my wrestling coach went and saw me, and like he saw me in the bed, he's like, hey buddy. And like I just woke up, looked at him, I was like, I didn't let go, coach. And he just started bawling and
Dude, fuck, dude, like that. I can't imagine what that would be like. That's damn.
yeah.
That's intense.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
a
I
movie
didn't know
moment
that.
right there,
Yeah, I
man.
didn't know that story.
Yeah,
That's a
so
movie moment.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got some chills right there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that
Damn.
was most of the accident, and had to deal with that like the last 5 years. And like I've had 10 surgeries trying to reconstruct everything. And like you look at me, I look like a normal human being just walking by.
I
And
will
then
say you
like,
look beyond normal because now you're so fucking built that like there's no way anyone would think you've gone through something like that.
yeah.
Like you're probably in better shape than me and X put together.
So what was the recovery like? I mean, I understand that you're still recovering, right? Like this is going to be one of those things that you're recovering from for forever.
Oh
But
yeah.
when was your last surgery?
My last surgery, probably 2017, 2018.
Okay.
That
So
was
like the solid 2.5, 3 years of surgeries and constant rehab.
yeah. The last surgery was my spinal fusion, my S1, L4, L5, just lower back, and that was probably like the most severe one, because
Yeah.
man, I've definitely, I know I've become a lot more humble with myself, and uh, I don't take things for granted at all. Like I appreciate every little thing. Um, you know, like when I had my back surgery, man, like you don't realize what you lose, you know, like I couldn't even fucking wash my hands without, you know, being in so much pain, like because you do like a slight bend to wash your hands, you know, I couldn't even do that. I had to like squat and like wash my hands. I just look goofy, you know, and like, man, just all the rehab for it was brutal. And, like I'm glad where I'm at now, but going through it was definitely a tough time.
Yeah, man. I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the podcast was because I know you've been through so much, and your motivation that you have, I feel like a lot of streamers can take something from it, just because there are a lot of streamers that start streaming on Twitch or whatever platform it might be, and a week goes by, a month goes by, and they just start wanting to give up. And I know that with your story, there's a lot that you can relate and pass on to anybody, not just streamers.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, a lot of it I would say is mental, man. Like you, me personally, I'm like really hard on myself from like how I used to train in the past to where I got to now, you know, and I do it for a reason just so I don't fall off the wagon because like, you know, I've done it before, you know,
Yeah.
I've got into kind of shape, you know, and then I started losing it again, and now I just try to like make it my life, you know. It's not a routine, you know, it's my life, you know, like this is what I had to do. And
Mm-hmm.
um like I have to do it too because it's weird, like my bones feel brittle when I don't work out, you know, like I feel like I'm in a lot more pain uh when I don't work out than when I do.
Yeah.
And you would think like, oh, you're lifting all this weight and like doing this and that, like you're gonna hurt yourself even more, but it's not even like that. Like I'm just strengthening myself.
Correct.
And yeah, so I just try to make it my life.
Yeah, that's intense because I've seen the clips you've posted like on your social medias and stuff, and the
Hmm.
shit you do with what you've gone through. I wouldn't even think you'd be possible. It would be possible if you even pulling an acrobat like you do on those clips, because like you'll be swinging from poles, you'll be fucking deadlifting so much weight, dude. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy had back surgery or a reconstructed back, and he's lifting so much. Like
I
there's
mean,
just no way.
it's probably not recommended, but you know,
Oh, definitely not.
I build up to it to where I feel comfortable with it. You know, like I know my limits, and
Yeah.
even in my videos, I may look like I'm struggling, but I know like I worked up to that. You know, I
Yeah.
don't just like say like, oh, here's 500 pounds, I'm gonna lift this and fuck my shit up. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do
No, that wouldn't
that.
be a good idea.
Yeah. So I definitely train to train.
You know, it's crazy because, like, to DJ's point, we we don't really comprehend what the human body can go through, and you know, in a case like yours, you might go through it and need assistance getting through it, but like the human body is capable of withstanding a whole lot, and even after we suffer some terrible injuries, you know, we might have repercussions that stick around with us until, you know, our later years, but we're typically capable of bouncing back. You know, talking about like when you're in wrestling or anybody that you know, is first learning to fight. I don't know. Have you watched Cobra Kai?
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you're right. So like everybody's watching Cobra Kai right now, and one of the first lessons that he's teaching his students is you got to get punched in the face. Like
What
nobody
the
wants to get punched in the face.
fuck?
But and if you've never been punched in the face, like you have this immense fear of like if you get hit, it's gonna like shatter your bones, because
Yeah.
typically we view ourselves as relatively fragile, but then you find out, you know, that you can apparently get thrown like a fucking cannonball a football field away, and you know, with a lot of assistance afterwards, but you are capable of eventually bouncing
Bouncing
back
back,
and
yeah.
doing things that most normal people don't even do in their normal day to day.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say
No,
something?
no, you're good.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, one of the things I try to make like fitness a high priority too is because at that time I was in the best shape of my life. Um, And like a lot of the doctors told me like, hey, you probably wouldn't have survived if you weren't in such good shape, you know? Like if you were like skinny, you probably would have died. If you were overweight, you probably would have died, you know? Like I was just like, yeah, damn. Like they were like it was almost like a cushion for you, like to save most of your bones and keep you from having such extensive injuries. Even though they were, but like
Yeah.
like they could have been a lot worse.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's crazy. I mean, but having that perseverance to keep pushing is so important. Not just now, but like you were saying, holding on to what your coach taught you, and that when you're going through that shit, you just can't let go. You have to keep fighting.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that I worked with. We worked together for the last two of the last jobs I worked at, and I've known him for like a decade. This dude used to play basketball all the time, and he got injured playing basketball and tore, I don't remember the name of the three ligaments, but your three main tendons in your knee. Tore them all up, right? Had to have surgery and didn't have the surgery yet. Continued training, continued doing a bunch of shit, and was a contestant on American Ninja Warrior.
Holy shit.
After ripping those three main, what are they, the ligaments or tendons that are in your knee that people fuck up, and then it like cripples them afterwards. Yeah. And like this dude was still in the process of having the surgery and participated and did really well. And like it's like but it's all about having that drive and determination, and oftentimes it's about having a goal, holding on to it, and keep pushing and push through their bullshit. And to DJ's point, like everybody that's out there streaming, if you just decided to stream one day because you had the equipment or because you saw somebody and you're not taking it serious, if you don't have goals set for yourself, when you hit those lulls, and you're gonna give up. If you have goals, if you have somebody that you look to for mentorship or whatever it is, whatever you have to have your eyes on a prize at all times. Otherwise it's too damn easy to give up. But to Julian's point, you got to have something to hold on to it, and then keep pushing for it, and treat every one of those moments as if you're hanging on to a rope on the side of a cliff.
One thing I say too is like have your major goals, but don't be afraid to set like small goals in between, and that will
realistic
allow you
goals,
to get
right?
like that'll allow you to get to those major goals, like I do that in and out of the gym, and I feel like that's something people should do, because a lot of people just pity themselves a lot to where they just give up like right away, and that's one thing I want to push on people when I begin personal training, like hey, set some small goals. Like if you want to like squat this bar or like put some plates on there, let that be your goal, but you got to start somewhere. You can't just think it and it's just gonna happen, you got to put in the work,
So to stay on this course, but to kind of bring it back to the streaming side of things, DJ, would you say that for new streamers that it's common that they set their initial goals as viewer count? Do you think that's a pretty typical goal for a lot of people?
It is.
Not if it's a good one.
Yeah, it's not a good one. Yeah, you read me. I didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah, no. So, and to Julian, when you have people who are wanting to get into, to change up their fitness habits, would you say that it's a common goal that people come in saying that they want to lift more weight?
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, it's not a good goal though. It's not what you're gonna push for, right? That's not the type of goals that you're gonna set for people.
Yeah.
Y'all have the same fucking look.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of said it to where you already knew the answer.
I try to, I try to set people to make the goal of them just starting, like actually keeping with it. You know, like, and then eventually we'll hit like whatever major goal they want in the gym,
Yep. So, DJ, what would you say is a good goal for a small, whether they're a new streamer or if they're still just in that beginner category?
Shit, I think a first good goal would be to just get comfortable in front of the camera. I think that should be number one. Because if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, then your content's not going to be good, regardless of how many viewers you get.
I'm gonna say it.
Touch on that.
We're gonna. I'll let you in just a second. Set a schedule,
No, it's
guys.
like related to your guys's.
Yeah, set a schedule and then stick to it as one of the first fucking goals. Because if you can't stick to a schedule, you're never going to hit those additional viewers. Like it's just not going to happen. Not consistently, at least.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Julian?
I was gonna say, it's pretty much like with any platform, like don't get caught up with like your followers, your viewers, and all that. Let that come on its own, but let your work speak for it.
Content. See, you get it. You'd probably be a good streamer.
You'd definitely be a good streamer, man. For sure.
He's got the dimples and everything. You're set, dude. All you need is a pair of tits.
Today's day. I don't know,
It could happen.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Just hold on to that rope.
So what are some of the initial goals that you set for somebody that's going to start training underneath you?
Say that again. Sorry.
What are some of the initial goals that you're going to set for somebody?
I would say, yeah, like I said, just getting started. One main thing that I try to express on people is sleep. A lot of people sleep, social media. A lot of people that you motherfuckers. Like
probably is us.
I didn't come on this podcast to get attacked, guys.
You want a personal trainer? This is what I'm gonna say.
He's gonna tell you the real fucking shit right now.
Like I said, I'm trying to be more of a life coach rather than just a personal trainer. Like a lot of people, they lose the motivation, because they're tired and drained, and a lot of that has to do with sleep and like poor sleeping habits. And one thing I did to help myself with that is I started setting myself to go to bed by 8. I'll pass out by 9. I'll take some melatonin at 8 o'clock because I have a lot of trouble sleeping, and I set my phone on my dresser. It's probably like 20 feet away. It's on do not disturb. I set the alarm for 4:35. Wake up, I have to get up to turn it off, and I try to keep that consistent so I stay on track with my training. And I think a lot of people, I would advise that, get your sleep on track first. I'd say get your sleep on track, get your training, and then probably worry about all the nutrition bullshit.
Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of trainers would probably start on the nutrition part because it's, I guess, the most doable at first.
I think that's the misconception. A lot of people think if I eat right, it's gonna be easier, being in the gym.
Yeah.
But the hardest part is actually getting your ass in the gym.
Yeah, no joke.
So just get started and do the little things that help you get in there.
Makes sense. So kind of similar, coming back to some type of a schedule then, right?
Pretty much, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Scheduling your life.
So Julian, Smash Lana, one of the guys out on the chat, wants to know why 4:35.
That's a good question.
4:30 or 5.
Oh, 4:30 or 5. Okay.
Yeah. It just depends if I want that extra 30 minutes. Gotcha.
That would be a pretty weird time. 4:35 on the dot.
I need those 5 fucking minutes.
Because I did 4:30 for a long time, and it's like 4:35. I don't know, man. It was just better.
So, is there any games that you play now, or do you still game at all?
I'll do Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare here and there, some Apex, but trying to get I've really been trying to prioritize my goal of being personal trainer. So
Yeah.
I haven't
Adulting.
Yeah.
Not adulting. Just
You're like, I
different
could
set of
do
goals,
it.
Well,
different hobbies.
hold on. This guy used to play a shit ton of Fortnite.
No.
Stop, dude. You're embarrassing me.
When you start to take something serious like that, though, you end up investing a lot
Yeah.
more time, and it makes sense that you would have to cut out some other things,
Definitely.
like or
I mean, don't get
DJ
me
once
wrong,
you
like if you gotta if streaming is your thing, like stick to it, that's gonna be
Yep.
your thing. And
you're,
so
you're gonna have to cut out some other stuff, like going to the gym.
Yeah. Going to the gym, time
The
with the
bar.
wife, the bar.
God.
Yeah,
gotta
it's
prioritize.
rough, man. It's rough trying to stick to a schedule when you have so much going on. Like
yeah.
me and X are, oh man, we're so busy, dude. Like, and
Yeah, dude,
you
growing up
can't even
sucks.
imagine.
I took this week off work, and you know how much extra time I spent playing games?
0.
0. Literally spent no extra time gaming this week.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to me. Same thing when I got hit with COVID. The 2 to 3 weeks that I was out, I wasn't gaming, dude. I was
No.
learning how to use software to help the podcast and our graphic design and all that stuff. Like I just used it productively instead of wasting it on just mindless gaming.
Not something that's actually really important to what we do.
Yeah, but we game with a
Yep.
purpose.
We do game with a purpose. Just like you work out with a purpose.
Exactly.
Yep. But dude, that's crazy. It's crazy to hear, some like you definitely don't show any signs of somebody who went through such a horrific accident, and I'm sure you're constantly in pain now, right?
Oh yeah.
It's just whether or not it's what
1 or
level is
10.
that?
It's just having that mental control, man. Like I said, like just getting your mind right is the biggest thing. Like I'm in pain every day. Like I have arthritis in my foot, man. Like I'm in pain every day. Like I have a spinal fusion. I'm in pain and every day. Like I beat the pain in my head. I don't let it uh live my life. And I think that's where a lot of people, like that go through like a traumatic experience where they just give up on life. Like I'm pretty sure like if anyone else like were to go through my situation, they'd probably blow their brains out or something. Like don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
like it's rough, and it's just about keeping that mental strength.
Yeah.
Yep. I know a lot of people, even if they go through a really bad accident, sometimes that's not the worst of it. Sometimes there's multiple times during the rehabilitation process where they want to give up and they wish things would have went a little bit different.
Yeah, man, that was really hard too, especially from like having that fitness background already, to like be, you know, impaired to be able to do any of the normal stuff I would do before. And all the rehab, like I was so hard on myself, because I would always tell myself like, oh, used to be able to do this, you used to be able to do that, like you
Mhm.
can't even, like when I just had my back surgery, oh man, it was the worst because I was so hard on myself, like not even being able to squat the bar, and
Yeah.
like even just like a stretching bar, like it was hard for me. And uh definitely the rehab was hard, and just keeping my mind right, like, all right, dude, you went through this whole fucking experience, like,
Don't be so hard on yourself.
yeah, like
Yeah.
like I'm not crazy, but sometimes I do have to talk to myself and,
Yeah.
tell myself, like,
And no,
all
yeah,
right,
you have to
chill,
convince
bro.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I hear you.
yeah,
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't always have a coach there after high school,
Right?
yeah.
It'd be nice
I
if
wish
we
I
did
could have had a
sometimes.
coach. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine just being in that situation because I mean, I know I went through a lot myself, but for me, since I didn't really see a lot of the physical stuff, it was more mind. Everything that was running in my mind, I had to convince myself to stay positive. And
Yeah.
like you said, it's hard, but you just have to convince yourself and
Yeah.
look at the future and know that there's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, like I'm definitely optimistic now. Like, I try to stay positive with everything. I don't let little words affect me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do this. I used to be able to do this. I should be able to, like it's more so like I'll eventually be able to do this, with time.
Yeah.
Like I don't let that negativity in my head where like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't. That's not my vocab. Dude.
That's crazy, dude, because we relate so much in that, and probably because of what we went through. Because I'm the same way. Like, I don't ever think I can't do something. I'll just say to myself, if it doesn't happen now, it's gonna happen later. I just have to keep pushing towards it.
Yep.
That's where like a lot of people like with success, like like they stay positive. Like you don't ever see like a multi-billionaire like say like like
I can't do it.
Fuck it, I quit.
I came from nothing. Like I'm not. This is where my life is set to be. Like,
yeah.
like,
this is as high as I'm gonna get. Like no, sky's the limit, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude. I appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Yeah.
I feel that we'll hear at least from a couple people where they say that they're thankful to hear somebody else's story, and it's nice to remember that you're not alone in situations, and I know that we have some people out there even in chat right now that have gone through some pretty bad shit, and so to see somebody who's gone through something, whether it be similar or maybe worse, or maybe they're like, oh, you think that shit's bad, but you hear somebody, and to see you sitting here with a smile on your face and saying, hey dude, 5 years later I'm putting together some videos and trying to work towards becoming a personal trainer. What type of acrobats? Like DJ mentioned acrobats, like what the fuck are you doing?
It's probably talking about like the muscle ups and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The what?
Muscle ups, like where you pull up on the bar, go over it, push, and
Okay.
yeah, I have a before and after video that like when I first started trying to do that, and like I was just struggling so hard. I was overweight, and then I have like the after video where I'm just like knocking them out like nothing.
Yep, like it ain't shit, dude.
So like I think a lot of it, I think I posted that saying, like a lot of people will look at you now and look at your success and think you never struggled, like, and that's why I try not to like judge people by how they look, I'd rather get to know them,
Yeah, most of the people that look at you, they think that, you had it easy and you just got to the top because of luck or something. They don't know how much you actually fought for it to get there.
Yeah, especially with the gym too. Like,
yeah,
a lot of people just like look at you like, oh, like this guy's been in shape like out the womb, Like,
yeah, it's genetics.
Sometimes it is,
Sometimes, but
sometimes
for the most part.
Even growing up, like I was like the skinniest kid ever, like 6th grade, I was weighing like 90 pounds. Like,
damn,
I was
dude.
tiny, man. Like,
dude, in 3rd grade, I was 105, man.
Dude, when I graduated, I was just a little bit heavier than 90 pounds.
Damn. Yeah, you're a skinny joking, guy, dude. And you're tall. You're fucking tall, dude. Yep. Holy shit.
How tall were you when you said that?
Like probably about 5'9" or 5'10".
Dude,
you were lengthy, see? Like I was short as shit. Like I was like 4'10". I was a foot shorter than yours.
Yeah, I think when I was 22, I was still like 120, man.
Damn.
At that point, I was already 6 foot.
This was X right here.
Seriously.
To hype you up, I'm 26. I could barely grow facial hair, so.
To be fair, like I didn't know I could grow facial hair. I always just assumed I couldn't, and then somebody was like, "Oh, do the No Shave November," and I was like, "What? Nah, dude, I don't do
that." Yeah. By the way, we're doing that this year. maybe not, Julian. Yeah, since I've known this guy, dude, he's always had like the biggest baby face because he can't grow facial hair.
I mean, I get like little like
peach
like
fuzz and stuff.
It doesn't come out like it should.
Yeah, it's patchy.
It's ridiculous. That's why I just shave it. I'm just like, I'm not gonna look like a fucking kid going through puberty still.
Yeah.
I don't live with my mom, goddammit.
Well, what else we got, DJ?
I mean, I think we've covered a lot, man. I mean, the biggest thing we can take away from your story is motivation, man. you're a fighter, and ever since I've known you, dude, you've shown that to me, and I've picked up a few things from you too, and it's mainly that motivation, dude. And
Yeah, man.
and dude, thank you for that, because it's hard, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's really hard trying to stay motivated.
Yeah, man. That's especially with everything like like everyone has their own problems. It's just like how they deal with them, and a lot of it, like everything is motivation, man. Like it's all in your head, and
Yeah.
sometimes don't be afraid to have like influencers, like have people that have like the same goals and see what they do, and you're like, all right, if they could do it, then I could do it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just somebody to look up to.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, guys, so if you're watching us and you're not familiar with DJ or myself, if you're not familiar with Elev8ed Gaming, if you're just happening to stop by, if you're into streaming and you're looking for that influencer, doesn't necessarily need to be one of us two, but we have a phenomenal community of streamers and non-streamers alike, people who come together and game, all different genres, primarily battle royale, but really all different kinds.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a group or a community that's going to help build you up, feel free to check out any of the links that you'll find down in the description below. But we're open arms, and we're always looking to assist other people. And while we're talking about motivation, and like listening to Julian's story, life is rough when you don't have a coach and you don't have somebody who's standing there in your corner, and that helps push you. So if you're looking for that and you don't have anybody, you do now. And if you do have somebody and you're still looking, hit us up then too.
Yep.
Assistant coaches.
Yep. It's good to have a community, man. It really is. And kudos to you, Julian, for trying to be that person for the people around you. And
yeah, definitely.
I think, finding a personal trainer who wasn't gifted out the womb, and somebody who, can say, look, this shit that you're going through right now, I'm not saying I had it worse. I'm just saying, like, I've dealt with it too.
Yeah.
And this is where I was, and this is where I'm at now. Like, that's a story that's going to definitely encourage people. And having a humble personal trainer that can be difficult to find. So good luck to you, man. I think that you're going to be really successful in your endeavors.
Appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man. Well, it was nice having you, Julian, dude. Thank you again for being here, dude. If anyone wants to reach out to Julian, we're going to have his links to all his social medias down in the description, if that's okay with you, Julian.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you guys for hanging out. This was, I don't even know what episode anymore, but
we'll add it in.
We'll add it in somewhere.
Movie magic.
It's going to be right here. Just shh. Well, we'll see you guys next week.